Hello dear children, welcome to this crash course. We will be discussing numerical problems based on EMI and AC. This happens to be one of the important chapters. We are already familiar with the basic concepts. We revised the synopsis, went through the equations. It's the time to take up a couple of problems based on these concepts. Example 1. Current flows from A to B as shown in the figure. The direction of the induced current in the loop is. Here is the construction and this is the direction of the current. I will call this as primary and secondary. Because of the current in the primary, an outward magnetic field is produced in the coil. An outward magnetic field is produced in the coil. Now, if you look at it, is that magnetic field changing? No. That magnetic field remains steady with respect to time. It is constant with respect to time. Now, if there is no change in the current, there is no question of any change in the flux. If there is no change in the flux remains constant and hence there is no question of induced current. But if the current were to change, for example, if this current were to increase or decrease, then there would be a change in the magnetic field produced here and that will produce an induced EMF in the loop. So, the direction of the induced current, there is no question of induced current in the loop and none of this is the correct option. Example 2. Impedance of a circuit when a resistance R and an inductor of inductance L are connected in series in an AC circuit of frequency nu is. Impedance is given by square root of R square plus XL minus XC whole square. In this case, X is 0, so it simply becomes root of R square plus XL square. Square root of R square plus XL, is nothing but 2 pi FL whole square or root of R square plus 2 pi nu L whole square. So, the frequency is given by nu and therefore, the impedance is given by this expression. So, which is our correct option? B is the correct option. Next one. An AC generator of peak voltage 200 volt is connected in series with a diode and a resistor of resistance 100 ohm. The average power output through the resistor is, okay. The average power dissipated is given by Vrms square whole divided by R. So, this is nothing but 200. So, 200 square so this is peak value is 200 square. So, 200 divided by root 2 whole square divided by 100. So, we understand why this is 200 divided by root 2. The peak value is 200 volts and therefore, RMS is given by V0 divided by root 2. So, this is 200 divided by root 2. So, you can simplify this one and cross check what your answer is. It turns out to be 100 watt. Example 4. An EMF of 15 volt is applied in a circuit containing a 5 Henry inductance and a 10 ohm resistance. The ratio of the currents at t is equal to infinity and at t is equal to 1 second is. The current in the circuit, in a RL circuit, is given by I naught into 1 minus e power minus t divided by tau, where this current I naught is given by E divided by R and tau is given by L divided by R. So, if I substitute these quantities, obviously current at infinity is equal to maximum current, that is E divided by R. And therefore, and of course, at t is equal to 1, this is I naught into 1 minus e power minus 1 divided by L by R. What is that L by R? Tau. L by R is equal to, the inductance is given 5, resistance is 10, so 1 by 2, this becomes 1 by 2, or I naught into 1 minus e power minus 2. Therefore, the current at infinity to current at 1 is nothing but I naught divided by I naught into 1 minus e power minus 2. That becomes, upon simplification, e square divided by e square minus 1. E square divided by e square minus 1. So, which is our correct option? A is our correct option. Next one. When an AC source of EMF E is equal to E naught sine 100t is connected across a circuit, the phase difference between EMF E and the current I in the circuit is observed to be pi by 4 as shown in the figure. If the circuit consists possibly only of RC or RL or LC in series, what will be the relation between the two elements of the circuit? So, we look at this, E is equal to E naught sine 100t. So, clearly omega is equal to 100. Now, from the given figure, which one is leading? So, clearly the current is leading, current leads the EMF. Current leads the EMF and we need to find the value of this one. So, tan phi is equal to 1 by omega into XC, that is RC. And we also know that phi is equal to pi by 4. So, phi is equal to pi by 4. He says the phase difference is this much. So, tan pi by 4 is equal to 1 by omega 100 R into C. So, we can simplify this one, and upon simplification we get R is equal to 1 kilo ohm and C is equal to 10 microfarad. You can find out which of these four options satisfies this equation, that is 1 is equal to 1 by 100 RC or RC is equal to 1 by 100, and upon simplification we get this one, and it corresponds to which option? It corresponds to this option. Next one. The number of flux passing through a coil having a number of turns 40 are 6 into 10 to the power of minus 4 Weber. If in 0.02 seconds the flux decreases by 75%, then the induced EMF will be okay. The induced EMF is nothing but change in flux divided by the time taken. He says it decreases by 75%, that means the remaining flux is 1/4 divided by time. So, this is nothing but 1 by 4th of, what is that, flux? So, the flux is equal to 40 into 6 into 10 to the power of minus 4 divided by delta t. Delta t is 0.02, and upon simplification we get as 0.9 volts. D is the correct choice. Example 7. A 100 millihenry coil carries a current of 10 ampere. The magnetic energy stored in the inductor is. Okay. You know, the magnetic energy stored in the inductor is given by half L I square. Half into 100 millihenry into current in the circuit is 10 square. And this becomes, you can simplify it further. This is 50 into 10 to the power of minus 1. That is nothing but 5 joule. D is our correct choice. Example 8. In a circuit, L, C and R are connected in series with an alternating voltage source of frequency F. The current leads the voltage by 45 degree. The value of C is, okay. Now, in a series LCR circuit, we can write tan phi is equal to XL minus XC divided by R. This is true if voltage leads the current, and this can be written as XC minus XL divided by R if current leads the voltage. Right? As the circuit is capacitive, he says that the current leads the voltage by 45 degree. So we can write tan pi by 4, that is 1, is equal to XC minus XL divided by R, or we get XC minus XL is equal to R. So further simplification, XC is 1 by omega C R plus omega L, and we need the value of C, so I'll rewrite it 1 by 2 pi FC is equal to R plus omega L, or C is equal to 1 by 2 pi F into R plus omega L. So the capacitance is 1 by 2 pi F into R plus omega L, or 1 by 2 pi F R plus 2 pi FL. So which is our correct option? 1 by 2 pi FL, 1 by 2 pi F into 2 pi FL plus R. D is the correct choice. Next one. A metallic ring is dropped down, keeping its plane perpendicular to a constant and horizontal magnetic field. The ring enters the region of uniform magnetic field at t is equal to 0 and completely emerges out of it at t is equal to t seconds. The current in the ring varies as. So the ring is falling down, that's right. According to the question, he says ring is dropped down, keeping its plane perpendicular to a constant and horizontal magnetic field. There is a horizontal magnetic field and it is falling down, keeping its plane perpendicular to it. So we can draw the diagram like this. And it is falling down and it travels inside this one and starts coming out and comes out completely. So we can divide the journey into 3 parts. One, just outside and entering. Second, its journey completely inside. Third, when it just starts getting out. When the ring is entering the magnetic field, EMF is induced in the ring and the induced current flows in a particular direction. That means during this journey, there is an induced current and this is along a direction. For example, maybe positive or negative direction. Say it is along a direction. Now during this journey, the ring is traveling inside the magnetic field and the flux remains constant and therefore there is no induced current. And when it is getting outside, there is an induced current, but this time the flux is decreasing and the direction of the induced current is opposite. So during this time interval, there is no induced current. Which figure shows this description? Let us see. The direction of the induced current has to be opposite and in between it should remain constant. So in between it is 0 here, but in these two figures it is not possible, and here also in between it is 0. But this figure describes the situation correctly because during entry the direction of the induced current is opposite to the direction of the induced current during exit. So B must be our correct choice. Next one. A long solenoid has 500 turns. When a current of 2 ampere is passed through it, the resulting magnetic flux linked with each turn of the solenoid is 4 into 10 to the power of minus 3 Weber. The self-inductance of the solenoid is. Suppose we consider phi as the total magnetic flux linked with the solenoid, then we can write L is equal to flux divided by current. So flux divided by, what is the current? The current is 2 ampere. Now what is that flux equal to? Flux is number of turns into flux linked with each turn. So this is nothing but 500 into 4 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So this turns out to be how much? This is 1 Henry. 2000 divided by 2000, 1000 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So inductance is 1 Henry. B is the correct choice. Example 11. The coil of a choke in a circuit increases the current, decreases the current, does not change the current, has high resistance to DC circuit. The whole purpose of using the choke is to decrease the current. Suppose I consider an AC circuit which contains, say, an inductor, capacitor, resistor, etc. And let's assume that we want to decrease the current. One way to decrease the current is to put an additional resistance. This is an additional resistance. But the problem is that this starts wasting the power. There is an extra power wastage across the resistor. However, just try to visualize this. There is a resistor and we want to decrease the current. Then what we can do is probably we can put one more inductor in series. Say, if I include one more inductor in series, the impedance increases and therefore the current decreases. But you know that the average power dissipated across the inductor is 0, which means that there is no appreciable loss of any power. Even though I say ideally there is no power loss, in reality there is a power loss because every inductor coil or inductor has some finite amount of resistance. So there is a very minimal loss of power though, but our objective is achieved. That means current has decreased with minimal power loss. Such an arrangement is what is called as a choke. So it decreases the current. Example 12. 220 volt 50 Hz AC source is connected to inductance of 0.2 Henry and a resistance of 20 ohm in series. What is the current in the circuit? Simple thing. The current in the circuit is given by E0 divided by square root of Z is nothing but square root of R square plus XL minus XC whole square. What is the value of E0? 220 square root of, this is nothing but 20 square plus, this is inductance and resistance, no capacitance, so this term becomes 0. This is nothing but 2 pi FL, frequency is 50, 0.2 whole square. So this turns out to be 3.3 ampere. A transformer is used to light 140 watt 24 volt lamp from a 240 volt AC mains. If the current in the mains is 0.7 ampere, then the efficiency of the transformer is. Efficiency eta is given by output power divided by input power. Output power is 140 and input power is 240 into 0.7. How is that? This is nothing but 240 is the voltage and the current is 0.7. So power is VI. So this gives me 140 divided by 168, or this is 0.833, or this turns out to be 83.3%. B is the correct choice. 14. An oscillator circuit consists of an inductor of 0.5 millihenry and a capacitor of 20 microfarad. The resonant frequency of the circuit is nearly. The resonant frequency F is 1 by 2 pi root LC. So if I simplify it further, 1 by 2 pi root L, 0.5 millihenry, and the capacitance is 20 microfarad. So you can simplify it further. The answer turns out to be 1592 Hertz. A coil of 40 Henry inductance is connected in series with a resistance of 8 ohm and the combination is joined to the terminals of a 2 volt battery. The time constant of the circuit is, simple thing, the time constant of the circuit is given by L divided by R. What is the value of L? L is 40 Henry and the resistance is 8. Remember, the voltage has no role to play as far as the time constant is concerned. The time constant is 5 seconds. 16. A lamp of same rating is used to a 200 volt DC and a 200 volt AC supply. The lamp of same rating is used across 200 volt DC and a 200 volt AC respectively. The lamp will glow only on AC, glow brighter in DC, glow brighter in AC, glow same in both. Okay. The brightness of the bulb depends on its voltage, the resistance being same. Now in the case of DC, this is directly proportional to 200 square. In the case of AC, it is directly proportional to, its value is V into root 2. Because he says 200 volt is the RMS value. So its peak value is V into root 2 whole square. That is directly proportional to 200 into root 2 whole square. Which means that the power dissipated is directly proportional to 200 root 2 whole square, which implies that it is greater in the case of AC. So, the bulb glows brighter across AC. 17. An EMF of 100 millivolt is induced in a coil when the current in another nearby coil becomes 10 ampere from 10 ampere to 0 in 0.1 second. The coefficient of mutual induction between the two coils is. Coefficient of mutual inductance is given by M is equal to E divided by delta I divided by delta T, or di by dt. This is the EMF in the secondary coil and this is the rate of change of current in the primary coil. So, what is it? This is 100 milli, 100 into 10 to the power of minus 3. The change in the current is 10 ampere from 0. So, 10 minus 0 divided by how much time is taken? 0.1. So, this is 100 into 10 to the power of minus 3 into 0.1 whole divided by 10. That is nothing but 1 into 10 to the power of minus 3, or this is 1 millihenry. A is the correct choice. 18. A 50 Hz AC source of 20 volt is connected across R and C as shown in the figure. If voltage across R is 12 volts, then the voltage across C is. You know, across AC, the voltages are related by this equation E naught square is equal to VR square plus VL minus VC whole square. In this circuit, we have R and C, there is no question of inductance, so it is VR square plus VC square. This is 20 square, therefore is equal to 12 square plus VC square. 20 square is equal to 12 square plus VC square, or this gives us VC is equal to, what is it? VC is equal to square root of 20 square minus 12 square under root, and that turns out to be 16 volt. So, the voltage across the capacitor is 16 volts. (19) The ratio of turns of transformer is 2:3, that is to primary to secondary. Given that the current through the primary is 3 ampere, then what is the current through the load resistance, that is the secondary? Number of turns in the primary and secondary are related by this equation. NP by NS is equal to IPIS divided by IP. Therefore, current through the secondary is IP into NP divided by NS. What is the current in the primary? 3 NP divided by NS. So, how much is that? That is nothing but ratio of turns of the transformer. So, NP 2:3, or the current in the secondary is 2 ampere. (2 ampere) is our correct choice. A coil of inductive reactance 30 ohm has a resistance of 3 ohm. It is placed in series with a condenser of capacitive reactance 25 ohm. The combination is connected to an AC source of 110 volt. The power factor of the circuit is. You know, power factor is nothing but cos phi. Suppose I simplify this one, cos phi is given by R by Z. r divided by z is given by square root of r square plus xl minus xc square. So how much is that? R is 8, right? The combination is connected to AC, so the resistance has 3 and then another thing, so 3 divided by root of 3 square plus XL minus XC square. So what is the value of XL minus XC? 30 minus 25. So this is going to be XL minus XC whole square, and upon simplification you get as 0.8. So the power factor is 0.8.